I should sing my song, but I ain't. PA Knit in the motherfucking building. Go get yours. www.realdribble.com. Good afternoon. Mark Curry has the algorithm cooking like a motherfucker. I see you YouTube niggas piggybacking the dribble again. It's cool though. Good afternoon. Mark Curry has the internet on fire. He said Mark set the world on fire. Yes, he did. What up, Tay? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Atlanta, what's up? You see Meek Mill trying to fight Gary Russell. Everybody's so violent and confrontational these days. Any new merchandise drops? Yes. All this week. Straight up. Check the website. London is the place to be. Yeah, y'all tickled by that. The old fool Nelson, huh? So, a few people asked me about my knowledge of certain topics that I had never shared here that Mark is connected to. I see a lot of Mark's videos is spiking on the channel. Y'all going back into the channel and y'all digging up old Mark Curry videos. I see y'all. He said, I'm picturing Puffin the Fool Nelson. I love the rappers doing interviews. I be telling my kids, don't be like these birds. That you in the pic behind you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the dribble. That's the Coogee air. Meat can't fool me. I've seen him punch in the bag. Yeah, we seen him. That smirk on your face let me know you got something. Yes, I got dope. So, Curry. He said, Puff kicking his feet with a wrinkled Versace shirt. Make sure y'all follow me on IG at I am Gully TV _. You see, you the best. I really profess to be. Me and Mark's relationship goes back many years, almost 5 now. Mark Curry, believe it or not, actually paid me the most money. Yeah, he's paid me the most money that I ever earned in any capacity. Not counting, my documentaries and shit like that, but a person giving me money, cash. Mark. I was with Mark. Mark had me booked in Atlanta for like a month and a half. I was in the Whitley Hotel for like 3 weeks. The Whitley is the Ritz-Carlton across the street from Lenox Square. What up? What going on? He said, Mark, comedian. Nah, man. Mark, the rapper. Eric Scott, I do. I do. But, yeah, Mark paid me the most money. This is after I had already interviewed him. I was introduced to Mark by my niece. My niece grew up in Stone Mountain and went to Redan High School. Redan High School, other students that went to Redan was members of the group Hoodlum. If you familiar with Smack DVD back in the day, or rappers from Stone Mountain, Hoodlum. And one of the members of Hoodlum was Saha the Prince. So yeah, them niggas went to Redan with my niece, and through them, she has a kid by she got two kids by Info Slim, who was in the group Hoodlum with Saha the Prince. So I was introduced to Mark by her. She wasn't there when I met him though. She just kind of put us together on the phone and let me take it from there. But Mark Curry is a very, very interesting verbal Kent-ish type of a person. Verbal Kent. And the people that be around him is similar to the motion picture. Usual suspects. But if there's anyone that I've ever met in this business who's verbal Kent, it's Mark. Straight up. Do you believe Puff pushed Big to get? Oh, yeah, I ain't putting that out there. Mark once said, and I believe it to be true, is that Biggie getting whacked was payback for Big Jake. He's the man with the master plan. Verbal Kent. Yeah. Corey, what up? But anyway, yeah, we were introduced, and I was put with him. The day I went to go interview him, it's on his channel. Just Google Gully TV Mark Curry on my channel. You're going to get a whole bunch of Mark Curry interviews. Whole bunch of Mark Curry music videos. But he was covered in paint. This is the first day I met him. And good interview, a lot of information. I wasn't bothered by the fact that he was covered in paint. He was painting something. But we did the interview, and I went, on about my business. A couple months later, he reached out to me, contacted me, and told me that he wanted to fly me back to Atlanta and make me in charge of media for this business venture that they had called Reach Energy. And that was, Mark was basically brokering a deal between Akon and another gentleman by the name of Brandon. He said, that makes sense. I'm gonna give y'all some more. It's gonna come out slowly because it's hectic, it's hot. But the foundation for this video here that you're watching is that I want to make sure I give Mark his proper credentials. I want y'all to know his credentials. And it's very interesting character, very interesting story. But he was giving y'all a foot. If you looked at the interview that me and him did between each other, it was a lot of slick talk, a lot of concealed shit, a lot of underhand. He talks slick, and he was doing it on purpose. That's just how he is and shit. You got to catch up. He real slick talker. And everything that he said was 100% true, but I'm going to tell you something that y'all didn't know. Hold on. I'm going to tell you something that y'all didn't know. This is the truth. Prior to that night when Suge Knight put Puff in a chokehold, Mark was already a rapper. He was already a rapper, but he hung at this rim shop, the rim shop that they be talking about, and he worked at that club, and he knew how to rap, right? When this situation happened at that Platinum House, we got a club. Somebody gets killed in our club because of you. This is your shit. Because our club might not go back to be this. Our club might not be the same again. And this is all your fault, player. Remember, he was Keith Murray and Mark, they was all saying the Detroit players and player this, player that. So it was gonna be handled in a player manner. How can we appease you for this body laying in your club? Give my man a shot at being a rapper. Who? Mark. Who's Mark? The doorman. And that's how you got Mark Curry. When Mark Curry came out, you never seen him in no magazine. You never heard about him. He just appeared. He just appeared on that fucking Harley Davidson. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. And people like, man, who the fuck is this? He just appeared out of nowhere. He got a very common name. Right in the middle of Diddy and Black Rob and all of these colorful names you have. Mark Curry. So yeah, he came in like a ghost. He came in like a ghost. He said, nah, he did just appear. He did, didn't he? He did. No unsigned hype, no priors, no nothing, just poof. Where did this guy come from? I'm telling y'all. But he's very, 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 very close to the action. Very, 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 very close to the action. Very, very close to the action. After I was booked by him, they was doing this deal, and Mark Curry was getting checks, and he would get a check. He would get the check, and he would walk around the room and pay all of us. And this was wonderful. I ain't even want to go home and shit. This nigga was giving me per diem. He should give me fistfuls of money to buy clothes. But being around him, I got in this certain loop. And Keith Murray was talking about this loop, and he was like, the Detroit players in the loop. He basically mentioned everybody except Mark. He said, G, if you want to see what G looks like, he's on this channel. Look up Gregory Taylor, Gully TV. And he telling old stories and shit. But I was rolling with these niggas for some months. I was booked. He had me booked maybe like a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. I know the last week I stayed at Mark's house because the budget money ran out. We plowed through that shit. But I was rolling with these niggas. He said, Biggie mentioned the Detroit players. Right? Boom. So Mark rolls with the Detroit players. Well, Mark got, bunch of old niggas, right? They older dudes and shit. Bunch of older dudes, right? These niggas be dressing bummy. Old Timbs, work clothes, big clothes, man. These niggas just, you wouldn't think these niggas was nothing. They very unassuming. You wouldn't think they was nothing. I'm serious. But these niggas is connected like a motherfucker, man. They can just call Tachina Arnold and shit from the Martin Lawrence show, or call Jazzy Pha, or they just connected like a motherfucker, yo. But I used to be around these niggas, and they liked it when I was when Mark had me booked down there. They liked it because they some older dudes. They like players and shit, but of course they like the bitches. They want to be around the bitches and shit, right? So I'm down there, I'm running around with minks on and shit, and, you know, I'm getting fresh every day. Now, don't get it fucked up. These niggas got minks. They got gators. They got all of that shit. They just don't wear it. They dress like some older niggas, man. Like, they just don't wear it. But when I start wearing my shit around these niggas, they was inspired by it and shit. They got a kick out of it and shit. You know what I'm saying? They like, damn, man, shit. Gully down here rocking and Josh should pull my shit out. So that's what ended up happening. I'm rolling with these older niggas, And Mark's my dude and shit. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. These niggas is thorough. They love to smoke weed. They rich. They smoke weed like young niggas, but they old niggas. And they very successful, man. And they connected like a motherfucker. And Mark's giving me per diem every day and shit. He giving me money every day and shit. And I'm going shopping and shit. I started buying a lot of Sergio Tech out of DTLR and fucking Greenbrier Mall and shit like that. And I'm coming back around, Mark, and them. I bought a pair of Troops, some Ice Lambs, LL Cool J joints. And I wore them around these niggas. And they older niggas, so they noticed them. They like, man, where the fuck you get some fucking Troops from and shit? Like, they was intrigued by this shit. So before you know it, they start pulling out their shit. They start pulling out their fly shit. Every day we rolling together and they pulling out their shit, man. They pulling out their shit. These niggas eat steak every day. They drink probably every day, champagne and shit like that, but they rich. And being around Mark Curry, I noticed the grades of celebrity. I noticed the grades of celebrity. What I mean by that is you can have a rap star and he won't have the same celebrity as a rap star that was on Bad Boy. You understand what I'm saying? Like being around Mark don't dress. He don't dress unless there's something going on. He dressed like a regular nigga, man. Like he dressed like a mechanic. And you could be with him and the people to speak to him is people that change the world. Like the people that, hey, Mark, just they real big people like music executives and shit like that. Actors and shit like it's a different level. It's hard to explain, but it's a different fucking level of celebrity. Like, um, you understand what I'm saying? Like his friends is like next level celebrities and shit like Usher and you know what I mean? Shit like that. Like it's a whole nother fucking level. But being around him, um, we getting closer and shit. We getting closer and shit. Smoking every day, kicking it and shit, going out to eat. And one night he opens up his music. Yeah, that's me back in the day and shit. He opens up his computer and open up his music. So I'm listening to Mark's Bad Boy records from when he was on Bad Boy. Now, this music can't come out because it belonged to Puff. But Mark still got it and shit. So we started doing fucking music videos with his fucking old Bad Boy songs. They on his channel. I was like, man, I don't give a fuck if we can't sell it. We doing the video and shit. I just wanted to make sure I did a video for Bad Boy. But anyway, we getting closer, and he had been, long past his interest in doing any rap or anything like that. But I started taking him on my routes with me. I'm like, yo, whoever I go to interview, you going with me. So when I went to go interview, whoever I had to interview, I would take him with me. He was there with Cavario. He took me to the Cavario joint. He came with me to interview Spliff Star. Like anybody that I had to interview, I would take Mark with me and shit. And they would be thrilled at seeing him and shit. Like he was a real big deal, big, highly respected guy. But once we got closer, he started to expose the good shit to me. What I mean by the good shit, the reasons why a lot of shit is going on today. He explained it to me a while back, and he also showed me pictures and shit. Mark got a lot of valuable pictures. Mark is also in a lot of valuable, probably can even say incriminating pictures. Uh, he's in a lot of pictures with Big Meech, and I believe Big Meech and Puff together. Like he was around all of that. I'm trying to make sure I don't say nothing I ain't supposed to say and shit, but The shit that he says about what happened in that club, you can take it to the bank. I promise you. He said, I believe he been a ghostwriter for mad people. He said his pen is ill. Just listen to the shit that he wrote on Muscle Game and shit. It's a personality behind who wrote that shit. You feel me? That's a person. He said, that's you in the pic. Yeah, man, that's old Coogee sweater pic, man, back in the day and shit, man. Been doing this shit. Coogee, Cuban, Rolex. He said, Mark been a ghostwriter. But, yeah, the shit that he said, take it to the bank. There's more. I'm trying to figure out how to give it to y'all. It's a lot of shit. It's a lot. That the shit that he said ruffled a lot of feathers, big feathers. I'm seeing big names in my stories on Instagram. Like, oh, shit, he's watching me. Mark born July 15th. He had cancer. He said he's an OG. Definitely an OG, but he's fucking Kaiser Soze. He's Kaiser Soze. Could he talk a little bit about Jason Brown? I don't be wanting to touch that Jason shit because it's a murder case. I didn't appreciate Mark saying that. I told him too. He don't be saying that gangster crip shit on my platform, man. Like, you can't be banging on my platform. And not only that, I don't want nobody to retaliate at you for saying no shit like that. So, the situation with Jason, apparently, like he said, I guess they was Jamaicans. I know that he ended up dying or getting killed a little bit later, not long after. I think he was killed at Magic City. He said, y'all still ain't figure out who the invisible bully is. I'm glad you said that. The invisible bully part. There's a couple of times when Mark was saying we, right? He was saying we. He said that nigga knew not to fuck with us. That means there was a us before Mark actually got his record deal. Did y'all pick up on that? Did y'all pick up on that? He said that. He said that. He said that wasn't the first time we had problems with. That wasn't the first time we had problems with Suge. He said we, right? But you wasn't a rapper yet. But you wasn't a rapper yet, Mark. Just pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. He said, man, we was been having problems with Suge. But you wasn't a rapper yet. You feel me? Y'all read between the fucking lines, man. He said, yep. Yeah, he said he exposed a lot to people that want to believe many years ago. He said, I know who us is. He said, I thought he was talking about you and him, Gully. No. He's talking about the invisible bully. I believe that Loon was a part of the invisible bully too, at a point. I don't know if he's still down. He probably is. But just listen to what Mark said, man. He said we was a brotherhood, man. We something like the Muslims and shit. Did you hear him? He said the fact that Puff didn't do nothing after the book says it all. Wow. 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 Great point. Great point. Great point. Y'all see when he was like, I'm such and such, such and such, such and such, such, and I was like, I know. I was like, I know. I didn't want him doing that shit on my platform. I didn't want him doing that shit on my platform. But he was letting people know who we is when he said we been having, he know not to fuck with us. Like, did you hear him? He kept saying shit, man. Like, he said Loon did claim MGC. He said them dudes was and is different. He said, bro, soon as Mark said that Crip set, I remember Loon claiming the same set in one of them old DVDs. I advise everyone to get Mark's book before he signed it. He knew some major players in the A in New York. He said, yeah, I definitely heard that, Gully. Whoa, that is a great point. He said it wasn't BMF. Nah, they kind of like, I don't think, I'm out of pocket saying it, but they probably hung around BMF for vice. BMF probably hung around them. I'm just keeping it real and shit. Keenan, you right. I can't pronounce your last name. You just said a big name. I ain't gonna say it. Um, I remember when I was around these dudes, right? When I was around these older niggas, another thing they liked about me, they liked it that I was doing the Haitian Jack documentary. They knew Jack. They knew Jack from Haitian Jack's time spent in Atlanta, from his years in Atlanta. Mark knew Jack. They all knew Jack. Um, if you go look at Hip Hop Uncovered, it's a guy that speaks on there on behalf of Haitian Jack. That's the dude that Keith Murray is talking about. His name is Vance or Vance or some shit like that. This shit, they liked the Jack. They had a lot of Haitian Jack stories. He said, didn't Black Rob say the Puff was the bully though? You mean the invisible bully? He said, Mark used to be in the clubs in LA with me. Getting back to him, he has this quality about him where people love this nigga, yo. I took him around Spliff Star, and he just lit up, man. Like everywhere I took him, man, people said, oh, Mark Curry, man, what the fuck? They be just so happy to see him, and he always got weed. Always got weed, so he's just like the life of the party. He one of them niggas from the East Coast is connected in the West, so he always got good weed on the East or some shit like that. He said driving around his 850 BMW at Justin's. My man says sales relief. I ain't gonna mention that name. That's a hot name y'all throwing around. That's a hot name. You need to interview Nino from Brooklyn. He said, I fell asleep on the couch smoking. Curry wrote good bars. Mark is from New Jersey. He's from New Jersey. He said, ask Curry about Scooter taking Puff Rolex. I don't know, man. Based on what we know, whenever someone got aggressive with Puff, someone died. Whenever someone got aggressive with Puff, something happened. I asked Haitian Jack was what Puff was cut like. He said, he's a gangster. He said that. He did. He said, Mark from T-Neck. said Wolf was the muscle, the Invisible Bully was the muscle. Wolf just had a face. Y'all just knew Wolf. If Wolf didn't get in trouble for being in the car with Shine and Puff and J Lo or whatever after that shooting, nobody would knew it. Nobody would have knew his face. The niggas wasn't running around trying to show their identity. They didn't want nobody to know what they looked like and shit like that. He said that's why Snoop was cool with Puff and Big. His book opened my eyes to that whole situation. It's a must read for those curious about that period of time and specific people. He's also Mark also has a relationship. Well, he had a relationship with Von Zip, like a relative type shit. My man said Von Zip, Invisible Bully. Puff had some very serious people around him. He said Riz was a hit as well. Puff done with Harlem Goons. Snoop has done a lot of lying about that back then. I know Snoop got a picture with Jack. Zip was Puffy Godfather's son. I don't know what his relationship with Puff was. I know he was a big dude. He's gangster from New York. Baller, get money on both coasts. Respected by all of them dudes. Like, they also say that if there was ever some money given to Puff and them, no. Yeah, no. If there was ever some money given to the Southside Crips, they didn't get it. Because Von Zip kept it. That's what folklore. Puff uncle used to supply the Southside Crips. Mark Curry witnessed Jake being shot as different from Gene Deal version of Jake being shot inside the limousine. Let's talk about that for a minute. I think it's important that we talk about this for a minute. Mark Curry said what he said, and Gene Deal hasn't said much. I don't know if Gene was there. I never listened to Gene talk about that night. I never heard myself listen to Gene Deal talk about that night or being there that night. But if he did, it's not gonna look good because Suge put Puff in the yoke. He said Suge put Puff in the chokehold, so how gangster is he? He said Gene seems to be adding extras on stuff. Mark said he was at the door. He let Suge and them in the spot that night. I think that's pretty credible. Gene wasn't there. He says it himself. Okay, end of story. Gene Deal wasn't there. For everybody who in the comments asking about Gene's recollection, somebody said he wasn't there. Gene been careful with his words since Curry been back talking. He said, where was Gene? He said, Gene be exaggerating. Mark ain't never struck me as a liar or an exaggerating type of guy. Shit, if he said it happened a certain way, it did. But not only that, Mark wrote his book in 2009. That book been out. Tupac said Biggie was part of the Crips. He said Mark Hood rolling said he a gangster Crip. He really bout that. I want to know who did it better, Suge Knight Gene said something about Puff and Ja Rule. That's neither here nor there, man. We not doing that, man. I just wanted to get on here briefly. I probably don't need to go any further. I just wanted to give y'all some clarification on Mark Curry when he speaks, or just the caliber of person he is. Yeah. After Puff got put in the Fiend, he had to put Big Gene back on the payroll. I can now see why some of the pop rules like Mob James and Jim Bob feel like Suge was responsible for Jake's murder. From what we hearing, from what Mark said, Suge had been pressing them for a minute. Suge was after publishing checks, or he was after publishing for Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. He wasn't playing no fucking games. He had TLC. He said Chili was his girl. Jamal told me stories about it, and you see he mentioned Jamal. I know this shit from front to back. Did you talk about the Gervonta Davis fight? He landed a big shot. They said that the guy couldn't speak English prior to the fight. They said Gervonta hit him. He went back to his corner in plain English and said, "Yo, I can't see." They said they got a sound bite. They got a sound bite. He couldn't speak no English. Got caught with a shot. Boom. They said, "Yo, I can't see." So that's that. He has amazing punching power and shit. He said, yeah, he did. He said that. He said he can't see and shit. Just prior to the press conference, he had a translator. So, he punched English into him. Rashidi Ellis. Speedy Ellis. Good fight. Good fight with Villa. I'm going to say this. I said this on Instagram earlier. A lot of these dudes be trying to take on the identity of Floyd Mayweather, and they get in the ring and they want to put on these dazzling boxing performances, then slip off and run a little bit and, you know what I mean? Then run a little bit and, do a bunch of this shit and, you know. And Rashid Ellis, he was doing that, playing around with this guy. I don't think Rashid Ellis had no intentions of putting this guy away. You got to put him away. You got to put him away. He didn't put him away. He was trying to leave it up to the judge's scoring card, and he got hit with a big shot. He probably ain't never been hit like that in his life. With a left hand, square, lifted him off his feet. From that point on, he was the hunted. His eyes was this big. He's been chased around the ring. He's been chased around the ring the whole fight, for real shit, the whole fight. The Mexican was applying pressure the whole fight. And once he landed his shot, the pressure increased. I believe overall, Rashid Ellis fought a good fight up until that point. I believe he got hit tired. I think he was tired. I think he was retreating, trying to just wing it for the rest of the fight. I think he was tired and got caught with a shot. Now you in trouble and tired. So he said 2 big shots. That left, man, it hit him square, lifted him off his feet. He's off his feet. Boom, 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 boom. He said 2 big shots towards the end, yeah. He said Davis had to leave Mayweather. He's taking up all the shine in the room. People saying the Tank can't beat Devin Haney. I hear that a lot. Gully said he never been hit like that. I know he ain't never been hit like that before. You know why? His eyes was big. You know, my black instincts kicked in when he got hit. And I seen his eyes. Oh, man. You in trouble, black man. You better run, man. You need about 2 minutes worth of oxygen. He needed 2 minutes. He needed to keep dude off his ass for 2 minutes. Legs tired. You running from your life. Plus you gotta throw punches. He was tired, man. Holding on. He was illegally holding. He did everything he could. He did everything he could, man. But yeah, ran out of gas. So put the guy away early. He said Ellis' eyes look like Esso from Mav Hoffa. Yeah, he was scared. He was scared, man. He knew he was in a lot of trouble. He knew he was in trouble. He said they all want to be Floyd, but don't want to put in the work. He had a 3-year layoff. I thought it was a 2-year layoff. He said tired with loose legs is a bad combo. He had to fight one, in my opinion, up to that point. Up to like the 11th, he pretty much had to fight one. He did enough for me. The undercard was definitely interesting. Yeah, the undercards was real good. Boots from Philly, I didn't the fight that he had. I got to see him again. I don't think he's ready for like Spence and all of them type of dudes. But the guy that he was fighting from the Ukraine, people say that he was running. That wasn't no run. That was the pogo stick. He was bouncing around. He kept bouncing around, man. He wouldn't give Boots an angle to hit him square. Like he did this little thing where he was bouncing around and shit, like one of them Glass Joe, one of the motherfuckers bouncing around and shit. Couldn't get him. He said the dude Boots fought had skills. Give him credit. I gave him credit because I knew that there was some skill to that shit. That bounce that he was doing, it was a skill to that. Boots caught him with a right hand, a big one. That was probably the biggest punch of the fight. But after that, it wasn't. That fight was boring to me. He said, nah, he not ready. He said that Ukrainian he was slick. I thought he was too. He said, reminded me like of Eddie from Street Tekken. Philly has to be the capital for boxers. All them cats be banging. I spoke about it many times on this platform. Y'all like the videos? 800 people here. Good afternoon to everybody. Subscribe to the channel. He said Boots need to get back in the gym. He couldn't cut off the ring. Everybody was saying that. That Ukrainian had good footwork. He was not letting him cut off that ring, yo. That little bounce. There was art to that. Didn't you see how big that dude's legs was? That dude didn't have boxer's legs. He had them big-ass John Stockton legs. He said, you know them Eastern European fighters are tough. Huh. He said, yeah, the Russian slip game was elite. He couldn't get him square. He caught him a couple times, and he was in great shape. Yeah, he made it look easy. It was like riding a bike. He never looked weak. Never. On code always. Thank you. He said Pac-Man's calves was bigger than his waist. Tank needs to get in the ring. Everyone that fought that night had exceptional records. Yeah, that was a good card and shit. He said he got soccer legs like Pac-Man. Tank got too much power for Haney. Power ain't gonna always be able to bail a guy out, man. You expecting that one big shot to always win it. Boxing is proven to go other ways. He said he looked like Ricky Khabib had. And J Alpha, what up? Good afternoon, everybody. Make sure y'all hit the bell so y'all get the notifications if this your first time coming into the live stream. Philly, Detroit, Youngstown, Bronx. Tank was playing that boy like a puppet. He did get hit too much for my liking. We want Spence versus Crawford or Charlo versus Canelo. He said a couple of body shots from Ryan Garcia stopped Tank. Facts. LeBron out tonight versus Denver. We could beat them niggas without LeBron. The Lakers is nice now, low key. The Lakers is nice now, low key. Shout out to my squad, man. The Lakers is nice now, low key. Y'all know we nice. Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant in the middle getting busy. Dennis Schroeder. We putting it together. We putting it together, y'all. He said 5 in a row. We putting it together. All we got to do is get healthy. Let's make it to the All-Star break and get healthy. He said that's a fact. LA is nice. KD is down 2 weeks. How do you think the Nets will do? Probably up to the bench. He said for the 11th seed, we'll take that. We just need to get in the playoffs. He said LeBron averaged like 38 points a game. He said, let's talk about everybody who wanted to trade Russ. A lot of niggas is talking that shit. Russell Westbrook probably one of our best players. He probably second best player on the team. He said, they're in the playoffs now. We got to keep it going. JDS, go to my podcast on all streaming sites. I ain't uploaded into 2023 yet, but it's coming. All-Star break in a couple weeks. We can get to 500. Rush 6th man of the year, playing his position, attack the paint, and dish off. He said Kawhi is a con artist. Rush casually triple-double the season. Russell Westbrook got more rebounds than Scottie Pippen already, playing 130-something less games. Says a lot about a 6'3" point guard. He said the Lakers need to start Brian when AD come back late. AD run the 4. Chester, what up? I'm about to get up out of here, man. Y'all can play this back. We was building. I said some intricate things about Mark Curry and my relationship with him. Hope I ain't say too much. Probably got text messages like, man, you need to chill. But the invisible bully. Y'all heard Biggie Smalls say it. Is it real? I believe it was a reason Keith Murray didn't mention Mark Curry in the interview. It's possible. It's possible. But he mentioned everybody else when he said the Detroit players and G, and it's all the same people. Rashidi Ellis got caught with a big left hand. I don't think he got hit like that before square. Who was the dude that shot Jake and where was he from? He might have been Jamaican. He might have been from the Bronx. His name might have been Jason. I'm going to see if I can get a picture of him. That's what I'm going to do. It's around here somewhere. Anyway, y'all have a good afternoon, man. I'm about to get to the gym, man. Y'all should do the same, man. Let's do it twice a day until 23. www.therealdribble.com, man. Get your PA knit, man. I got 50 styles online, man. They seem to be becoming more popular daily. It don't matter where you bought it from. Just remember who started this shit. Peace.